Locked On Podcast Network and Odyssey present Locked On Sports Today.
Two key advantages to help the Lightning thunder their way to a third straight Stanley Cup. Rory McIlroy made his case for the PGA Tour without having to say a word. And it was the Celtics' missed opportunities, not vintage Steph Curry, that led to a tied NBA Finals. I'm Peter Bukowski, starting your day with the can't-miss stories and biggest debates in sports. You're Locked On Sports Today.
Searching all major sports. Found.
Let's start with the biggest story.
The Stanley Cup Final is set over the weekend. The Tampa Bay Lightning took care of the New York Rangers. They will take on the Colorado Avalanche for a chance to hoist Lord Stanley's Cup. It is, in a way, a shame that the Rangers didn't make it there, because joining me now from Locked On Islanders, Gil Martin, the man who wrote the book on New York hockey failures and wins, is here now to help us break down. Also the host of Locked On NHL. And Gil, this is a matchup of two teams who can really get up and down the ice. For the Lightning, they are familiar with what's going on with a Stanley Cup Final, with the pressure and all of the adversity that comes with it. What do you think ultimately decides this matchup?
You know, this is going to be a sort of a dream matchup as far as, you know, two very talented teams. I think if the NHL could draw it up, this is what they would have wanted. And I think it may very well come down to defense more than anything else. I think that the Avalanche have a very mobile defense, a team that can move the puck very quickly, and the Lightning have a better goaltender and more experience. So I think whichever team is better able to shut down the opposition will probably end up winning this one.
So that sounds like, if I'm hearing you correctly, that you're leaning the Lightning in this one. I
am, but it's very, very close. And I think the Lightning has two big advantages over Colorado right now. Number one is the goaltending. Andrei Vasilevskiy, arguably the best goaltender in the National Hockey League right now. And then the other one is experience. They've won back-to-back Stanley Cups. They're looking to become the first team to win three straight since the Islanders did it in 80, 81, 82, 83. They won four straight. But, you know, you're going back to pre-salary cap, pre-free agency era. It would be quite an accomplishment to three-peat.
On the other hand, the Avalanche are coming in red hot, having swept their last two series. How do you think, momentum-wise, you see that part of this playing out?
I think it's an advantage for the Avalanche in the sense that they are on a roll and they had some injuries, and this little break that they had in between the conference final and the Stanley Cup final will give some of their players, like Nazem Kadri, for example, and Darcy Kemper, their starting goalie, a chance to get healthy and play in this Stanley Cup final. So I think that works in their favor to an extent. And look, you have a team that has won two straight Stanley Cups against a team that was sort of the favorite to win the Stanley Cup the last couple of years and stumbled in the playoffs. So it's a marquee matchup between two really good teams.
One of the things that we often hear in sports, the old cliche, you can't fake desperation. And if you're the Lightning, there is an advantage to been there, done that, right? They understand what the pressure feels like. But there also might be an urgency disadvantage to having done that. The hunger might not be the same. How do you see that dissonance playing out in this series? Does that give the Avalanche some sort of, minor advantage? The team that plays with the most force in these playoff games often is the one that comes out on top.
I think it could. It really could give the Avalanche an advantage. Like I said, they were the favorites. They won the President's Trophy with the best record in the league, not this year, but the 2 years prior, and then couldn't get it done in the playoffs. The Stanley Cup playoffs are so hard. You have to win 4 series, 16 games, playing every other day. It's a physical grind. You have to lose in order to learn how to win sometimes. And I think the Avalanche are hungry. They realize that their window does not last forever, and this may be their last great chance to come through. And the other advantage I think that the Avalanche has, they have a lot of depth. They can roll 4 lines that can put the puck in the net, and their depth may be another factor that works in their favor. This series is going 7 games. I can tell you that right now. This is going to be a nail biter.
Thanks for making Locked On Sports Today your first listen. We have an important favor to ask you. We put together a survey so we can learn more about listeners like you and make your favorite Locked On podcasts even better. This is your opportunity to tell us what you like and don't like about Locked On Podcasts. Go to lockedonpodcast.com/survey right now to get started. It won't take very long, and everyone that completes a survey can qualify for a chance to win one of 10 $100 Ticketmaster gift cards. To take our audience survey, go to lockedonpodcast.com/survey. Thanks for your help. Coming up, Rory McIlroy did what the commissioner of the PGA Tour has previously failed to do. Remind us why the PGA is the best of the best. Don't you love a chewy, chocolatey brownie? Maybe a little caramel swirl in there. What if you could get that wonderful flavor and get 17 grams of protein along with? Well, you're in luck because caramel brownie bars are available at built.com right now, and you better act fast because they will be gone before you know it. Just 130 calories, 17 grams of protein, and only 4 grams of sugar. Come on. Unbelievable. Unbeatable. The best part, caramel brownie. These bars covered in 100% real chocolate, like real for real. With Built, you don't have to sacrifice taste for health. You can have both. Go to Built.com and use promo code LOCKED15 to get 15% off your order. That's promo code LOCKED15 for 15% off at Built.com. For the third year in a row, the number 1 ranked college baseball team in the land will not make it to Omaha. The Tennessee Volunteers were this year's top-ranked team, but they fell victim to the old saying, they don't play the game on paper, and they were eliminated by the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Jack Finley held the Vols to 1 hit and no runs over the final 5 innings of the game, while the Irish scored 6 between the 7th and 8th innings to win it. This will be Notre Dame's first trip to the College World Series since 2002. The Baltimore Orioles, or Game of Thrones. John Angelos was accused in a lawsuit this week of seizing control of the Orioles from his brother Lou against his father's wishes. Peter Angelos became the Orioles owner in 1993, but his public role has diminished in recent years, and he turns 93 next month. The suit alleges that John accomplished this all by seizing his father's assets, by manipulating his 80-year-old mother to do what John wanted. The North remembers, or I guess in this case, the AL East. It took 12 innings, but the Texas Rangers got a big win on the road against the Chicago White Sox on Sunday.
That was one of the weirdest, wildest, and most wonderful baseball games I have ever seen the Texas Rangers play. Rangers win 8-6 in 12 innings against the White Sox to win their first series in June. I'm Bryce Patrick, host of the Locked On Rangers podcast. This was an absolutely insane game. So many players used. The Rangers emptied their entirety of their bench. Ezekiel Duran hit his second big league home run. Eli White hit a home run and then had a collision in the bottom of the 11th inning. Very scary collision. He came out of the game, walked off the field under his own power, could not initially get up. They're going to have some x-rays on his wrist. A solid start by John Gray in this one. Not a great defensive day for Ezekiel Duran until the very end of this game. Had a 3,000 IQ play. There was a ball that was hit that looked like it was going to be the end. It looked like it was going to tie this game up. We're going to send it to 14 innings. It's going to go to 100 innings. It didn't even matter. But Jose Abreu was called out on strikes by Colby Allard. Got him pretty darn good. Jake Berger flew out to left field on a ball that looked like it was going to be a homer, a 2-run shot. With Luis Robert, very fast runner on second base, Charlie Culberson caught that ball on the warning track, fired an absolute strike to Duran at third base, and because Luis Roberts' foot got off the bag for just a split second, that was enough to get him out and end this game for the Rangers. Eventually, it was Jonah Heim that sealed in the 2 runs that the Rangers needed. A big homer in the 11th inning by Ezekiel Duran to score 3 in that one was not enough to get the Rangers the lead because of that defensive disaster, and hoping that Eli White is okay after the bottom of the 11th inning. But the Rangers were able to get out of that jam. The pen was mostly nails. Garrett Richards did not look great, but Dennis Santana came in, did some pretty good work. Joe Barlow had a rough day, had a blown save, but did get credit with the win. And John King came up huge. This was a wild and much-needed win, first series win in June for the Rangers, and doggone it, they needed it.
And the San Francisco Giants dominated the LA Dodgers over the weekend in sweeping fashion.
The Giants don't just beat LA, they sweep LA, and they only allow 4 runs in the series in the process. Ben Kaspick with the Locked On Giants podcast. That was much needed for the Giants in so many ways, and a lot of things kind of have normalized in a way. Like, we started to see less kind of lucky, fluky hits against the Giants and more hard hit balls right at people. And we saw the bullpen come through and be clutch and get that big out. Just something they haven't been able to consistently do all season. And really, this is some of the best baseball they've played. Tight, close games and coming out on top against that Dodgers team. The bullpen, I mean, saying they were good and clutch doesn't even really tell the story. In the second game, I mean, the Dodgers just had the Giants on the ropes multiple times. Harleen Garcia came through. Camilo Doval came through. The bullpen has been fantastic, and the hitting did just enough, and Austin Slater's defense in center field today was great, and 2 home runs, solo homers in the first inning for the Giants in the finale, held up. That was the final score, 2-0. Giants' first shutout of the year came at a good time. So hopefully the Giants can carry this into their next series against Kansas City, one of the worst teams in baseball. So we'll break it all down about the Giants sweep on tomorrow's Locked On Giants, where it's your team every day.
After all of the controversy, after Phil Mickelson's comments got him exiled from the golf world, not just the PGA Tour, the LIV golf experiment finally kicked off in earnest over the weekend. At the same time, Rory McIlroy won a thrilling RBC Canadian Championship on the weekend, shooting a 62 on Sunday. Joining me now from Locked On Big 12, our resident golf guy, Josh Neighbors. Josh, I thought it was so fitting that these two things happened at the same time, because I saw almost no conversation about what happened with LIV, and the golf on the PGA Tour was excellent. Just big picture with what's going on right now with LIV, what do you make of what we saw over the last few days?
So I think Jay Monahan did a bad job of stumping with PGA Tour. I think Rory McIlroy did the best job of stumping with PGA Tour. He shot a 62 to beat Tony Finau, a guy we think we should be winning majors, and Justin Thomas, a guy who won the last major, to win a golf tournament this weekend. On the same weekend where, sure, Charles Schwartzel won, but Henny Duplessis is your second place finisher at LIV Golf. Fantastic.
You made that name up, Josh. Come on, you made that name up.
I don't know who he is. I'm gonna go. I've got no clue who this guy is. He made $2 million. Here's the thing: the PGA Tour has some problems. Jay Monahan addressed none of them. Rory McIlroy, though, did make the point that everybody is making: the best players in the world reside on the PGA Tour. The guys who want to win, the guys who want to beat the other guys who want to win, are on the PGA Tour, Peter. That's the big story to me this weekend.
I love that. And there is, for those of you who are not up to date on what's going on, the LIV Golf Tournament is backed by the Saudi government. Essentially, they have a public investment fund. They have allocated billions, tens of billions of dollars to reinvigorate their image across the globe. There has been accusations that this is what we call sports washing, where they're trying to use sports to shine up their image while they're committing, civil rights issues. There was the journalist that was killed that Phil Mickelson referenced, part of what got him banned. We saw these guys over there in London for the tournament get asked these difficult questions. It doesn't seem like they're going away. How long do you think this can go on?
Well, I think it's going to keep going on. I mean, these guys, look, like, I think Dustin Johnson can just ignore it forever. Although, like, if we're going to talk about his golf legacy, you and I have had a lot of conversations about guys like records, whatever. I mean, he gets dinged for this because this is a guy who's got all the talent in the world, former number one player, multiple times major champion, and should be accomplishing more. But you know what? He's taking the bag. He's getting the bag. Like, I'm mad at him for that. I'm not going to get mad at Kevin Na. Like, am I supposed to be mad at Kevin Na for going to get the money? No. But, guys like DJ, guys like Patrick Reed, and guys like Phil. Here's the thing. Look at these three guys. And for my money, the biggest names on that tour. DJ, not wasted talent, but didn't fulfill. Patrick Reed, maybe the biggest a-hole on tour. Like, nobody likes this dude. And Phil Mickelson, potential white-collar criminal who's accepting Saudi money. So that might answer the question about, is he a white-collar criminal or not, right? Those are the guys that are the big stars getting the money. And then Bryson, obviously, maybe second most disliked guy on tour. Like, those are the guys who are getting the money, and keep asking the questions, because those guys do not have solid defenses, nor will they at any point in time. Keep asking them. I think it's a good journalistic integrity, but let's keep hearing them stammer, and not have anything to say about what actually the problems are here.
You mentioned Rory McIlroy as well, doing the best job stumping for the PGA Tour. He's also been an outspoken critic of this.
Yes.
And said, at what point is that money just like, at what point is enough, right? For these guys, especially Phil Mickelson, DJ, they've made a lot of money in their career, and it's not for us to say, right? But what I find so interesting is we had a showdown. Justin Thomas, you mentioned, Tony Finau, Rory McIlroy, Justin Rose shot a 60.
Yeah.
These are superstars in the game. And in a way, they just sort of showed once again, by the way, this is where the best players play, right here.
Yes.
And Rory McIlroy, I think we need to say this. He has a chance. There's more majors to be won this year, including the one this week. Rory McIlroy has to be the favorite for some of these, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's got to be. And look, I've never been a huge Rory guy. I'm a Tiger guy, right? So you kind of naturally Sergio and Rory, but like you see him come out and say these things and say, this is where I want to be, and go out there and fix the problems and shoot a 62 win a tournament. I mean, how do you not love this? Like, I think the Ryder Cup is probably the most underrated event in all of golf. If Rory goes out there and beats a JT, that's what I want to see. I don't want to see DJ. I don't want to see the Charles Schwartz from President's Cup. I don't want to see any of these guys. I want to see Rory versus JT versus Tony Finau, like on the tour and in the Ryder Cup. Those are the guys who have stuck out their noses and said, "This is where I want to be." And right now, they're like, Rory has been. You and I talked actually during the last couple events. Thursday, great for Rory. Just can't finish the deal. Doing it right here, like that was awesome to see. And I want to see him do it in a major. And I think he can. I mean, he's playing some of the best golf of his career right now, I think.
Coming up, the Celtics missed opportunities. Not Steph Curry should be the headline from Game 4 of the NBA Finals. Here's what to look for on BetOnline, your number one spot for all your daily gambling needs. Here's an updated look at the odds on the NBA Finals MVP. Steph Curry is the favorite, minus 125. Jason Tatum plus 185. Jaylen Brown 4-1, like that one. Marcus Smart 25-1. Al Horford 40-1. And then now we're getting into long shots. Andrew Wiggins 80-1. Klay Thompson 150. Draymond Green 150. Jordan Poole all 150-1. BetOnline, where the game starts. Steph Curry was unstoppable in Game 4 of the NBA Finals. The Celtics seemingly had no answers for him, and yet, as John Corrales of Locked On Celtics will have you believe, it is the Celtics who still had a good shot at winning this game.
The Celtics actually could have been in a spot. They were in a spot to withstand this. And this didn't go, like I said, so I'm not going to sit here and take some sort of victory lap about how the Celtics defended him or anything like that. When I say this coming up, they could have withstood the 43 points from Curry. Curry went out there and closed the door late in the game. Klay Thompson hits a three. Then Curry comes in and hits a three. And it becomes a 3-point game. And the Celtics had opportunity after opportunity after opportunity to go out there to tie the game. They missed 4 3-pointers, down 3. They missed 4 3-pointers. Marcus Smart missed 2. Horford missed 1. Tatum missed 1. Jaylen Brown didn't get any until later on, which is a problem. But the Celtics missed chances over and over and over again. Like, there were 2 minutes of scoreless basketball where neither team scored. And then Curry came down and put them away. So the storyline out of this game becomes, wow, Curry, 43, puts the Celtics away. And yeah, he did. But there was a stretch there, 2 minutes of scoreless basketball, where if the Celtics had just run some cohesive offense, maybe this would have, the storyline could have been, wow, Curry was awesome. Wiggins had a great game, and they wasted it because the Celtics closed them out down the stretch. That opportunity was there. That's where I'm really, if I'm sitting here upset about this game, that from a Celtics perspective is where you get upset about this game.
I think two things can be true at once. It is the Steph Curry game, and the Warriors won because of Steph Curry. It's also the case that Boston could have and potentially should have won the game. It's not as if this was some blowout. In fact, neither team had a double-digit lead until the very end. It wasn't until those closing minutes that the Warriors really put any kind of distance between themselves and the Boston Celtics, which by definition means the game was right there for Boston to grab. Through 4 games, I understand the series is tied, but to me, Boston has looked like the better team throughout. It has taken some Steph Curry brilliance to claw the Warriors to even. The thing is, Steph Curry's an all-time great. And so we could be sitting here after 7 games going, yeah, the Boston Celtics were the better team. But guess what? Steph Curry has been the best player in the series. And if he does it 2 more times, the Warriors are going to be champs again. And finally, Rory McIlroy's win at the RBC Canadian Open had a little extra sweetness to it, even if he didn't, as he passed an all-time great golfer in total wins, Greg Norman, who just happens to be the CEO of the Live Golf Invitational, was, of course, that golfer of the accomplishment. Rory said, 21st PGA Tour win, one more than someone else. That gave me a little bit extra incentive today, and I'm happy to get it done. The PGA feeling just fine. Rory McIlroy feeling great. Thanks for making Locked On Sports Today your first listen. Now go make your second listen Locked On NBA Big Board as they get you ready for the ultimate NBA mock draft. It starts June 16th with over 50 insiders. Nothing equals the ultimate NBA mock draft quite like this. The Locked On NBA Big Board draft experts plus the Odyssey insiders. First pick is June 16th. Search Ultimate NBA Mock Draft and follow now so you don't miss a pick. Coming up Tuesday, will the Warriors take advantage of their home court? So at least until tomorrow, stay locked on sports today.
Locked On Podcast Network and Odyssey present Locked On Sports Today.